Hey, it's Mark from Mediocrity. I'm here at the tasting room getting ready for our big Valentine's Day weekend event. I wanted to give you a quick tasting note, but actually not on mead today. We've got those coming a little later this week. I actually wanted to give you tasting notes on honey. So, as you know, we are going to be releasing for the first time ever our own estate honey from our 100 plus beehives. I've actually got two batches. Both of these come from the 2019 harvest last year. We had the hives located in different parts of San Diego County. So what's neat is that we're actually able to taste the different parts of San Diego, not only because of the location, but because of the time of year. Based on the amount of rain and where the hives are located, honey actually does taste different. So while these aren't varietal honeys, we are getting those unique characteristics from those different locations. So first up, we have batch 1. Now batch 1, you'll notice, was a lot lighter than batch 2. And so that's a really neat indicator just by the visual aspect that there were different blossoms in that. So batch 1 comes from Valley Center in the springtime. So we had our hives up there about February through May before we did an initial harvest. So Valley Center is a little bit more residential, so I'm expecting probably some flowers from people's gardens. There are quite a few citrus groves up there. Unfortunately, a lot of them are being cut down for new homes, but there are still quite a few orange groves out there. So I'm expecting a decent amount of citrus since those blossoms would have been going at that time. And then we just have all of the native forage. We have this coastal scrub brush habitat out here in San Diego that changes as the season goes on based on the amount of rainfall. So what's neat is that those are always going to be a backbone in all of our honeys that have been placed out in the wilderness, but they change based on the time of year. So earlier in the season, I might expect a little bit more wild lilac, maybe a little bit more sage, and then in batch 2, probably expecting a little bit more buckwheat as the drier months went on. So let's go ahead and taste this. So again, batch 1 from Valley Center. Let's see what we've got here. That's super tasty. I definitely get the citrus on there, and it tastes very, very light. We actually use a lot of dark honey to make mead, so it's neat to try a lighter honey because you get a little bit more delicate flavors. Definitely light, bright, citrusy, super tasty. You could definitely spread that on an orange scone or put into some tea. That would be really, really good. I really like that one. A little bit more delicate from what we're about to try, but it's probably unlike any honey that you've tasted before. It's very, very rich still, even as light as it is. So next up, let's try batch 2 and then we can compare them. So batch 2, this was located up on Palomar Mountain in the summertime. So while we still have a lot of the similar brush out there, like the sage and the buckwheat, because it's a little later in the season, the lighter flowers have died off by that time. And so a lot of this is likely going to be buckwheat, and that's a pretty good prediction because of how dark it is. So let's go ahead and try this one. Wow, definitely get that caramelly buckwheat. You know, it's really incredible. Both of these on the label would be considered San Diego wildflower honey, and yet that batch 2 is super dark, super rich, super caramelly. It's a totally different honey, and it's probably something that you also have not been able to taste before, because that honey has never been made before. Because it's been placed in a unique location, and the rains are different from year to year, each of these honeys is unique in its own way. And even if we were to put these honeys on the same location at the same time of year next year, they're going to taste different because the rain patterns change, different flowers bloom, and so we're going to get a different mix. But that batch 2, that's actually been a little bit more popular than batch 1, interestingly enough, at least for fresh heating, but we definitely have some people that like batch 1 as well. I really like batch 2. It's a little bit richer. You're going to get a little bit more of that depth of honey flavor. So if you're looking for something a little darker, a little richer, go for batch 2. But you're welcome to come by the tasting room this weekend or past that to continue to try some of this honey. We'll definitely encourage you to come try just what type of honey San Diego is producing. It's very unique, very tasty, and makes some super delicious mead that we'll actually be doing some mead with a little bit later this year. So hope to see you this weekend for the party, and can't wait. See you then.